Welcome back to, well, I'm not in the King's Corner, but this channel is. Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and welcome to the KingCast. If this is your first time watching the live podcast, I hope you enjoy. Feel free to comment, and I'll try to get to your question. Today, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a brand new, I'm sure you've heard about it. I want to talk about it with you. A brand new Fallout New Vegas mod called Frontier. And it looks really, really good. Of course, a new Indiana Games Jones game was announced this past week. We'll talk about that. And of course, that is a Bethesda game. A new Fallout 76 update is coming very soon. And we're going to go over some more new things coming to Fallout 76, not only this month, but coming in the near future. Now we have confirmation on it. We'll talk about Starfield. Yeah, there's some Starfield news out there. Pete Hines talked about Starfield. We'll talk about that. And a new ESO reveal coming up soon. All that and much more right here on the KingCast. And as always, your questions hopefully will be answered today as well. Hey, Trey and Alice, what's going on? Hey, James, good to see you. James is stoked for Indiana Jones. I am too. So we will definitely be talking about that. I'm going to start off, since this is a Bethesda podcast, I'm going to start off with something non-Bethesda. That makes sense, doesn't it? Cyberpunk, of course, is a game that is out right now. Many of you have already played it. I've played some of it, but some were disappointed in the way it was released, the bugs that came in it, and also, is my mic not picking up good? I can bring it down closer to me. Y'all let me know if it's okay. Normally I have it up there and it's fine. Can y'all hear me better now? Let me know. Cyberpunk, the CEO, apologized to everyone. Hey, Mudbug, y'all please let me know if the mic is better. Before I go any further, because like I said, a lot of news going on today. Good. I'm not in my normal setup, as y'all can see. I would like to know what you guys think about Cyberpunk before we move on to Bethesda, which we are quick, but I wanted to give you this real quick. The CEO and co-founder of CD Projekt Red, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. It is foreign and I can't do it. He put something out on Twitter. In fact, I believe it was just yesterday, apologizing, saying that he was deeply sorry. In fact, this is what he says, that Cyberpunk 2077 did not meet the quality standard we wanted to meet. I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this. And this video is me publicly owning up to that. And he put a video on it as well. Well, I thought that was at least a class move, but you know, some people, like I said, are very, very, very disappointed in Cyberpunk. Maybe that's the culture we're in now. Is it possible? And I kind of want to transition this to Bethesda. Is it even possible today to have a fantastic reception? Well, the Western game that I always forget, it had a good reception, so I think it is, but I wonder if Bethesda can have a reaction to Starfield like they did with Skyrim. I don't know if we can in this day and culture, but I sure hope so. I hope it's that good. I think I want to start the podcast with the Frontier, which is the New Vegas mod that has just hit Steam. It is available for anyone that has New Vegas, and I believe you have to own the DLCs as well on Steam. But it is available right now, and it looks amazing. By the way, I'll plug my friend Joey Caps. He did a video on it. He's got some game footage on it, quite a bit. So go check that out after the podcast if you want to. But listen to some of these things that comes with this new mod. Now, I know a lot of people love Fallout New Vegas, and I do as well. But this is not just a little mod. This is a game size mod with well over 40 hours of gameplay. 40 hours. I think that's what Rage had when it came out. So we're talking about a huge game. It's set in Portland, Oregon, and it's in the snow. For those of you that have always wanted snow in Fallout, well, you've got it. Also, there are drivable vehicles. So if you've always wanted to drive a vehicle in Fallout, you can do that now in the Frontier, which is this New Vegas mod. It's got great voice acting, or at least the part that I have seen of it. Over 100 new characters that are all voice acted. So that's major. There are 3 distinct main quest lines in this. I'm gonna quit calling it a mod because it's huge, but yes, it is free. Each of these 3 distinct paths that you can go have 15 plus hours of play, but the NCR portion has over 35 hours. So with replayability, you're over 60 hours now in this game. So it's really, really amazing. Also, there are new factions in the game as well called the Crusaders of Steel. Okay, let me welcome some people to the podcast. I hope some of you heard the opening. We've got a lot to talk about today, not just this Fallout New Vegas mod, a lot of news with Fallout 76, got some Starfield news. We're even going to talk ESO a little bit. They've got a new reveal coming out in 2 weeks, so we'll talk about that as well. James, welcome to the show. King just got home from my son's hockey and lacrosse games. It's good to see you. This is a good day. Yes, sir. It is great to see you as well. Hey, Carlos, good to have you. The most important thing about all this is that they are owning to it, talking about Cyberpunk. Absolutely. Texas Canuck is here as well. Good to see you, Texas. Hey, King, despite the bugs, I have really enjoyed Cyberpunk. I'm glad to hear people enjoying it. I don't like hate on games. I don't like the company to get it, and I just like people to be happy. Isn't that right, my queen? Wink, wink. James says that he's played Cyberpunk on PC. I think it's a great game. Talking about New Vegas. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm behind on these questions. I had to get to them. So talking about New Vegas, there is my queen. She says, I think it's just the culture. Everyone wants to be angry at someone. Yes, that is definitely the culture that we're in now. Jeremy, welcome to the podcast. Don't think that studio uses the creation engine. Everybody get away from the creation engine. Gentugo's here. Hey, Gentugo, welcome to the podcast as well. So anytime during the podcast, y'all can talk about the Frontier mod if you want to. I'm about to move on, but if there's anybody that's played it, I would love to hear your impressions of that mod. Again, if you've ever wanted to play Fallout in the snow or Fallout with drivable cars, then this is your mod. It is free on Steam right now, but don't go right now. Wait until after the podcast, then you can go. And there is my queen calling in to say hello. Let's say hello. Can't have a Kingcast without the queen. Hi, my queen.
Hey, my king. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
You look so awesome.
Well, thank you. I miss you. We hadn't seen each other for over a week now, hadn't it been?
It's been a day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
it has.
What are you up to today?
Well, let's see.
I know. You heard all of the game news that I previewed at the first of this podcast, and you just had to get in on this podcast because you're so excited.
That's exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was just beyond thrilled, you know? Yeah. I mean, we all know I'm playing games, so.
Trey asked, will I stream Fallout New Vegas Frontier? Quite possibly I might, yes. I'm actually going to have to go back and reinstall Fallout New Vegas and all the DLCs. And the internet's not too good here, so that might take a long time. I might have to wait until I get back home. But yes, I would like to do that for you guys. Absolutely.
Well, that's going to be a couple of weeks, so hopefully maybe you can figure out a way.
Yes, I hope I can. I can.
Yeah. Gosh, I hope you figure out a way because you're down to one computer, man.
I know. My computer went out this week as well. Well, Miss Queen, I love you. You're welcome to hang around.
You're kicking me
No, I just said you're welcome to hang around, but I've got.
I know your voice. It just went up in octaves too. I love you.
I have a lot of news to get to.
Okay, fine. I love you. Y'all hit that like button.
Thank you, Miss Queen. Thank you for being a moderator here.
Oh, always.
Do you know what to do as a moderator?
Kind of.
Well, if any of you guys would like to be a moderator, I give that to my Patreon. So go over to my Patreon page. Not right now, after it's over. And then you could be a moderator as well.
Yeah, just go hit the like button right now.
That's right. Thank you, Miss Queen. Love you, dear.
I love you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I know a lot of you still play Fallout 76, so I want to get to some Fallout 76 news. There's a lot of news, a lot of things that's coming. And if you don't play Fallout 76, hang around. You're sure to have fun. And we're going to talk about a lot more than just 76 today. But let me give you some of these. Number one, we have an update coming. Update number 25. I was not bad to her, Psycho. Good to see you, Psycho. Glad that you joined the podcast. Update 25 is coming to Fallout 76. It is coming a week from this coming Tuesday. So keep that in mind, and we're going to go over in just a little bit what all's going to be in that update. But that's not coming this next week. It's coming the week after, so we'll probably talk about that more in next week's podcast. But we've got a lot that's coming up this week. And again, as I said in the opening of the podcast, I'm also going to talk about some things that have now pretty much been confirmed that are coming in the near future, that some of them that we've all been looking forward to, and one that we didn't know anything about. James, thank you so much. This is for the King and Queen's PC Fund. Bless your heart. Yeah, we were going to get the Queen a PC, and now my one has gone out, but I'm not going to give up on it yet. I'm going to give it to the computer repairman and hope he can put life back into it. The one that went down of mine is the one I do all my videos on, and I've had it for a long time. I think I had it in seminary. Did I have that thing in seminary? Well, I know I've got a lot of my college notes on it, so I don't know. Surely I didn't. But anyway, now coming this next week, coming January the 21st. That is this coming Thursday. This coming Thursday, double XP. If you're really wanting to level up, or if you're wanting to get on the scoreboard more and move up that scoreboard, double XP actually helps for both, because one of the repeatable things on that scoreboard is the repeatable XP. So you can really move up that scoreboard during double XP. So that starts this coming Thursday. That's huge for a lot of people. Let me catch up on some comments, and then I'll keep going. Like I said, I've got a lot of news. The Skyrim Lord is here. Welcome to the podcast. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Todd Howard. Yeah, we're going to talk about that next. Celebrity tributes. Hey, good to see you. I'm just hanging out, ready for the increase in the stash limit. Yes, that's coming a week from Tuesday, so you can almost hold your breath that long. James says, what will release first, Starfield, The Elder Scrolls 6, and or Indiana Jones? Well, James, we're going to talk about Starfield and Indiana Jones, and there may be a good reason to believe that both games are coming this year. In fact, that's the Starfield news we're going to talk about, that it's probably more probable this year than we thought it was. Let's see. Hey, Mad Beavers, good to see you on the podcast. Timmy Hill, welcome to the podcast. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Sir Timmy, excuse me. Sir Timmy. Also coming up in the near future with Fallout 76, and not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just wanted to go over it with you. We have the script surplus coming, which I can't wait for. I've got a bunch of legendaries I need to get rid of. I always gripe about how many legendaries that I have on me, and there's not enough script. And of course, the people that I play with go, well, quit picking them up. But you can't just leave them there. But anyway, so there's going to be more script for us starting January the 28th. That's going to be 2 days after the update. That's a week from Thursday. So remember that is coming up. Then you got Double Score Week, Treasure Hunter, and the Foshnot Parade has been set now for February the 16th through the 22nd. And by the way, there are new masks for the Foshnot Parade this year. There's 3 new ones. There's one that's a clown, there's one that's a demon, and one that's a Brahmin. So that's very soon. But I want to talk about what is coming up in Fallout 76 that we've kind of heard. A couple of these we've heard for a long time, and then one's brand new. Perk loadouts, it seems they're getting closer than we thought. The last we heard about perk loadouts, that they were coming sometime in 2021. That's all we knew. Well, there's not a date set on them yet, but it appears that perk loadouts are getting closer to when they're going to be installed into Fallout 76. And that is going to be huge. If you don't know what a perk loadout is, a perk loadout is where you can take a group of perk cards and switch them with another group. And that's going to be great. If you've got different builds, or maybe your crafting build with all those crafting perk cards you need during that time. I hate switching out perk cards, and I wind up forgetting half the time, and it makes me mad at myself. Also coming is, and there's really not a name for it, but it is going to be another mode for 76, and y'all better get really excited about this. The new mode that's coming for Fallout 76 is going to be, are y'all ready? Drum roll. It's going to be, oh, just saying it's not enough. I want y'all sitting on the edge of your seat. Mods are going to be coming to Fallout 76, and it appears they are coming soon. If you remember the last time we heard something about mods, Jeff Garner said that they're coming sooner than you would think. Well, that was way back a long time ago during QuakeCon. But I do believe that mods are going to be coming. These personalized or custom worlds is what it's going to be called. That's going to be a new mode where you can go over, and I'm just guessing here, but we've kind of been saying this all along, that it's going to be a world where you can use mods and you cannot use mods in the normal modes. So, and that makes a lot of sense. So I cannot wait to learn more about these personalized worlds with mod support. That is so awesome. We also heard that pets are coming very, very soon, but now it's been confirmed. Again, we don't have a date for it, but I would expect pets to be one of the next big rollouts coming for Fallout 76. And I hope there's more than just dogs and cats, but we will see. That's something they can just keep expanding on and keep expanding on. Hey, Matt, welcome to the podcast. Yay for a new Foshnot mask. Absolutely. Reaper, welcome to the podcast as well. He says, good afternoon, King and family. Happy belated 2021. Happy New Year to everyone as well. And here is to a better year than last, and also even better year for Fallout 76. Amen to better year than last. But yes, Happy New Year to you and everyone. And then survival mode may be coming back, and I would love to hear what y'all think about that. So that is some huge news with Fallout 76. Things that we do know and things that are coming in the very near future. Now, as I said, a week from this Thursday is update 25. And quickly, just going over what that is, because I'm sure you've probably heard by now, the stash box will be increased 400 pounds. It's moving from 800 to 1,200 pounds. And I know we're all going to be very excited about that. There's going to be new Pip-Boy updates as well, where they are separating the armor from the apparel. They're separating the food and drinks from the chems, just trying to make it a little bit easier on you there. There's also going to be a tab called New, which will just simply inventory everything you pick up from a single playing session, from newest to oldest. So that's interesting. If you pick up something and you say, where is that? That's basically what's coming in the new update 25. Now, there's more things in it, of course, but these are the biggies, and I'm super excited. I continue to be excited about Fallout 76 and the future that it has. The Indiana Jones game, I want to, and by the way, I'm trying to get through the news so that we can talk about whatever you want to talk about as well. Hey Nazim, new perk cards. I would expect some when the perk loadouts come. So yes, in the near future, I believe they are going to expand both legendary perks and be adding some to the regular perk cards as well. Now, don't expect a large amount, but yes, they have talked about new perk cards as well. This past week, Machine Games announced that they are in development of a new Indiana Jones game. Of course, I did a video on this, but I want to maybe even talk about some things that I've learned since then. First, I want to know, are you excited at all about an Indiana Jones game? I love Indiana Jones. I was a kid when Indiana Jones first came to the theater in 1981. 1981. I watched it in the theater and loved it, and I've watched them all. The last one, not so much, but I love all the movies. We still watch the first three all the time at home. We have them on DVD. So I'm excited about the game. I even got more excited when found out that Todd Howard is going to be the executive producer, which means to me they really want this project to succeed. The past few games with Machine Games and even Arcane Studio, they have not been very successful monetarily. Of course, the last Wolfenstein Youngbloods was not successful, and I'm trying to think before that. Doom was successful, obviously, but they've had several Bethesda Softworks games that just hasn't made the money. Even Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which won it won first person shooter of the year. It was nominated for game of the year. I mean, it was a huge success critically, but yet it didn't get the money for Bethesda that they thought it was going to get. So I believe they're bringing Todd Howard for the name power, number one, and then to make sure it's a good game, because that's what happened to Youngbloods. Wasn't a great game, so it wasn't a great success. Now we're going to talk about just a little bit in the podcast whether we think this will get in the way of the Elder Scrolls and Starfield. Again, I have some news on that. I don't think it will, but we'll talk about that. In fact, Pete Hines specifically talked about that this week in regards to Starfield and the Elder Scrolls. But let me tell you some things about the game that I know. A couple of these was on my video this week, but a couple was not. So you're going to hear some of these brand new. Number one, the game is either centered around, it starts in, but we do know that you're going to be going to Rome, Italy. You say, how do you know that? Well, as you're looking at that, and I've looked at it probably 100 times now or more, the trailer, that little bitty short trailer, I don't even know how many seconds it was. It wasn't a minute long. It shows a plane ticket that says Rome, Italy, and it's also dated 1937, which I'll get back to in just a second. But there's also a map of Vatican City. That's the big map that is out there on the table, which of course is back in Rome again. So it's something is centered around Rome again, or where he goes at the first of the game. I'm going to get to that. I think there may be some news about what the game is, or a little bit about what the game may be, or what you may be doing. Hey, Eli, what's going on, buddy? It's good to see you. Glad you're here. Welcome to the podcast. Skyrim Lord says he is very interested and excited. That's awesome. I am too. Trey says, first movie I remember my father taking me to was Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That is so neat. You're probably a little younger than me because my first movie was The Jungle Book. The second movie I ever remember going to see was Smoking the Bandit. So, and then Star Wars, and that was all of those, I believe, was 1977. Jungle Book was probably before then because that was the first one I remember, and it was actually a drive-in movie. My first movie was at a drive-in. Yeah, I'm old. Anyway, so it's going to be in Rome, Italy, or at least part of the game is going to be in Rome, Italy. But also I mentioned the date 1937, which is really important because Raiders of the Lost Ark was set in 1936. I'm not sure what Temple of Doom was set in, probably 1937. We don't have a date, but The Last Crusade, which is the third movie, it was set in 1938. That's why I say Temple of Doom was probably 1937. So this game, we know, is in between Raiders of the Lost Ark, probably in the Temple of Doom. But, was it before? Was it set before? And then the Crusade, the Last Crusade is set in 1938. So we know it's in the... it's from when we remember Indiana Jones, okay? It was from his main period of time. It was not the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's way later in this timeline. One thing that some believe, and I haven't heard this much, this may be the first time for you guys hearing this, but if you start to look through some of the clues on the table in the trailer for the Indiana Jones game, it appears they are going to be in Vatican City looking for a map. And I'm going to have to do a more detailed video on this because I can't do it without showing you the things on the table. But there's a lot of things on the table about stones. The first book you see is a book about stones. The last thing you see is a box of rocks. So stones are going to be really important. Maybe he's looking for a special stone. But in the Vatican, and this is true, you can look it up, there is something called the Library of Stones. And it's actually in Latin, so it's not called the Library of Stones, but that's what it is in Latin. And that building actually has an X on it on that map. And what that place is, and why I said they're looking for a map, what that place is, it is actually old maps when people put them on rocks. So these are some of the oldest maps known anywhere in the world are held right there at the Vatican. So he's looking for, I believe, a place. And I believe he goes to Rome, Italy, looking for the map to this place. Now, there is a picture. If you look, and again, I'm going to have to do a video on this so I can show you what to look at. But right at the first of the video, after it passes the books, there's a couple of pictures there on the table. And one of the pictures appears to be some kind of tower, and some believe that is the Tower of Babel. And supposedly the map to the real Tower of Babel is found in that Library of Stones in the Vatican. So could it be that Indiana Jones is looking for the Tower of Babel? Now, one quick thing, if you don't know much about Indiana Jones, you may say, well, why is he doing that? Why is he looking for a special rock? Almost all the Indiana Joneses, except for the last one, all of them except for the last one. Again, it was set right before World War II. And they are looking for these specialty items that actually Nazis Germany was looking for. And Indiana Jones is trying to get them before the Nazis get a hold of them. The Nazis wanted the Ark of the Covenant. Well, why would Nazi, and that was really true, by the way. Nazi Germany did really look for these items before and during the war. They had a special division that was actually just for this kind of thing. supernatural type things. Well, why would the Nazis want the Ark of the Covenant? Well, if you've ever read the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant was a very powerful object. Very powerful. Armies were defeated because of the Ark of the Covenant. There is one account in the Bible where the Ark of the Covenant was put into a false temple. I believe it was when Babylon had it captured. It may not have been Babylon. My memory's terrible. But they actually put it in the false temple with their gods, and the next morning the stone statues of the false gods were actually bowing over to the ark. So it's very powerful. The Last Crusade that the Skyrim Lord just mentioned, they were looking for the what's it called, the cup of Christ, that they actually called the blood of Christ in, but the cup that he used at the Last Supper. So these were supposed to be special items that held power. It wouldn't surprise me to see them looking or doing the same thing, since that's really what the movies are about. And again, I believe that the Holy Grail, thank you, James. And again, I believe the Nazis are going to be the bad guys. They're going to be there, which fits Machine Games, right? They do the Wolfenstein games, which are all about Nazis as the bad guys. So that gives you an idea. I think you're going to start out in Rome, Italy, or at least go there. It's going to be a big part of the game. And then you're going to be looking for one of those supernatural items, trying to get it before Germany gets it to use in World War II. Now, whether it's the Tower of Babel or not, we'll have to see. If you don't know what the Tower of Babel was, the Tower of Babel was built, according to the Bible, after the flood of Noah. And this is where God actually confused the languages, and people went their separate ways. That's why we still say, you're babbling, Babel. So that's where that word comes from. So that's a bunch of information about the Indiana Jones game. I am excited about it. Again, Todd Howard's going to be the executive producer. I would like to hear anytime during this podcast if you're excited about it, if you think it's going to be an Xbox exclusive or not. And also, I'd like to ask you as well, I mentioned this in my video, do you want it to be a first-person game or a third-person game? And the reason I ask, a lot of games in that genre tend to be third people games, like Lara Croft and Tomb Raider, or the other one that I forgot in my video, and now I'm forgetting again. Not Drake's Fortune. Why does that always come to my mind? Uncharted. Gosh. See, that's why I have notes. If I don't, I forget. But I personally, I hope they do it either or, whether you can be first person or third person. All the Wolfenstein games are in first person. They're first person shooters. So that's what I imagine it's going to be. But I would love that third person option, so you can see the fedora and see him whipping, using the whip and all that. But I'd like to hear what you would like in that, and if you would like it to be, or if you think it's going to be an Xbox exclusive or not. Now, I mentioned Todd Howard being the executive producer. Does that mean that it's going to hurt Starfield, or it's going to hurt the Elder Scrolls 6? Because we know that Todd Howard is in charge of those two games for sure, Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6. We also know that he has done work on, if you can see strobing, the light, there's a light going out above me. So I hope you don't have seizures. You might have a seizure with this light flashing. We also know that Todd Howard helps on Fallout 76. So we've asked, do we think this is going to slow down Starfield? Or especially, I hope Starfield's already done. Is it going to slow down the Elder Scrolls? Well, Pete Hines actually talked on Twitter about this week. I don't know if you heard this, but he says that Bethesda is prioritizing Starfield and the Elder Scrolls over anything else. That is their main priority. And that is Todd's main priority, is Starfield and the Elder Scrolls. Now, again, I believe Starfield's done. I believe the game's finished, and I believe we're getting it this year. And I said at the top of the podcast, I even believe that it is more likely that we get Starfield this year now. Well, why do I say that? I believe that they announced the Indiana Jones game, and I believe that means, I'm doing a lot of believes, but I'm going to tell you why. I believe that means that the Indiana Jones game is already in production. It's already being worked on, and it may even come this fall. Now, why do I say that? Because what is Todd Howard's views on announcing games? He wants to announce a game and then release it. And he says, in his own words, he wants to do that as close together. He wants to announce it and release it as close together as he can. So I would find it very, very funny, unless something leaked or some other reason, and we haven't heard of any leak. I mean, they announced it themselves. But I believe because of that this game is not way away in the future. I believe it's coming very soon. And this would follow their pattern. If this is a game that they're going to talk about this coming E3, then they always talk about it beforehand. Normally it's around the end of February, 1st of March. So you can probably look for Starfield too. If they're going to talk about Starfield, we may hear something more about it. But now this is what Pete Hines said on Twitter specifically. He said Todd is currently the executive producer on many BGS projects. But now listen to this statement. And other projects. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Such as the Fallout TV show. Starfield and the Elder Scrolls are not affected by the Indiana Jones game. They are our priority. So that's what Pete Hines said about Todd Howard being the executive producer. He said he produces a lot of things in BGS, but he also said other projects. I wonder what other projects that Todd Howard is working on as an executive producer that we haven't heard about, because he specifically said projects like the Fallout TV show. He's the executive producer on that as well. But I'm sure it's in-house in Bethesda somewhere. But outside of BGS, I wonder what else he's working on. I would love to know that. Nazim said, I think Bethesda made Prey, but I think it was only a first person, but it wasn't as good as Fallout. Yeah, I love Prey. Arcane Studio actually made that, published by Bethesda. It is a Bethesda company. Great game, by the way. I love Prey. I have recommended it several times on my channel and through this podcast. Great game. Let's go video games. Hey, welcome to the podcast. It means, he says, we shouldn't believe anything he says. Don't believe Todd's lies. I love that. He also says they don't like it. They don't like to show things until they're almost ready. Absolutely. And Vault Girl, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here. So great to have you. And by the way, if you haven't commented and I haven't said welcome to you, welcome. So a lot of things are going on with Bethesda right now, and I can't wait to see E3 this year because it appears we're probably going to learn more about Starfield, learn more about Indiana Jones. Again, I would not be surprised at all if both of those games were released this year. And then we're also going to learn about the Fallout TV show. That's another thing that I believe is coming very soon. Why would they announce? I think they announced it back in August. Well, if we go until E3, which is June, it's going to be almost a year since they announced the Fallout TV show. So I would not doubt it at all if it is coming very soon. That would be another great thing to come this fall. So all three of those are coming very soon, in my opinion. Quickly, before we move to some more of your questions, ESO is about to reveal a new update, new DLC for the Elder Scrolls Online that is called Gates of Oblivion. Now, we've already visited Skyrim. Now we're going to get to go down in the Empire a little bit. If you know anything about the game Oblivion from BGS, I can't wait to see some of those places in the Elder Scrolls Online. And they have actually moved that, the reveal of the Elder Scrolls Online Gates of Oblivion. It was going to be revealed this coming week, but because of the presidential inauguration, they are moving it to next week. It's actually coming out on Tuesday, a week from this coming Tuesday, the same day that we get the Fallout 76 update. So a lot of Bethesda things happening that day. So I can't wait until next week. James says, do you think Todd Howard will get promoted to head of Bethesda and in charge of all games from all Bethesda studios? You know, James, it's interesting you say that. I was talking to Joey Caps in a podcast, and I can't remember if it was his or mine, but I actually brought that up, that now that Microsoft has acquired Bethesda, so there's no ZeniMax anymore. There's no board. There's none of that. It's all under Microsoft. Microsoft really needs somebody. I mean, the position is needed now. They need somebody that is in charge of all the studios, including Arcane. And by the way, most of these places have American studios and overseas studios. Arcane's one like that. It has an Austin studio, I believe, and then is it Paris? Somewhere over there. So I would expect somebody to be promoted and be the face of Bethesda. And who better? You know, we talked about if Todd Howard was going to retire. I don't see that in the near future, but seeing him be promoted as the main guy over Bethesda, if he's still allowed to do his project, the Elder Scrolls, and work on that, I could see that happening. I could definitely see his job expanding. If not him, you know, who would you hire to be over Todd Howard? Really think about that. Hey, Dom, welcome to the podcast, man. Good to have you. Dom says he's not going to leave BGS. That's his home. The only way I could see him leaving was to do that. But see, he would still be at BGS then. He would just have more duties. Michael Clark, good to have you on the podcast. He says an executive producer may or may not have anything to do with the actual production. The EP generally is the angel, the who provides funding for a production. Yeah, but knowing Todd Howard, and I agree with that, but knowing Todd Howard, I believe he's going to be very involved. I can just see him being very involved with the Fallout TV show to make sure it's, y'all will laugh at this, but to make sure it's lore friendly, to make sure it don't break anything. So I'm sure he's going to be more, because if he wasn't, they would call him a consultant or something. But yeah, I definitely see him being involved in that. And since they came out and announced this game and him being the executive producer, I can definitely see him being involved greatly in this Indiana Jones game as well. Dom says it's less hands-on and it's more guiding. I agree with that as well. He is in charge, basically. He's the executive producer, the one that probably has final say over a lot of things. Dom also says, plus machine games are in Sweden, and of course no one can travel. Well, that is absolutely true. But boy, they can do a lot virtually right now. Bethesda's been working virtually for quite a while, which is wild. Dom says he's just guiding the direction of the story. I could definitely see that within the Fallout series for sure. Jeremy, I don't know if I welcomed you, Jeremy, but welcome, Jeremy. More hands-on rather than big office. Yeah. And definitely Todd Howard is a extremely busy guy. Michael says, whenever you hear of someone receiving the title of executive producer, it means they have their own money involved in the production. Oh, that's interesting. Retro Wave Dave, welcome to the podcast. So glad to have you. He says, I just want that Enclave officer uniform that keeps being teased in all the data mine leaks. Yes. Dave, I really want to see the Enclave more involved in Fallout 76. I would love to, wouldn't it be great to meet someone, maybe kind of like the Brotherhood of Steel guy that we didn't know was here, but we met him there in Watoga before the other Brotherhood came in. Wouldn't it be great if in the future we get a DLC that's centered on the Enclave and we find out that some of the Enclave made it, maybe in a bunker somewhere? I would love to see that expand. I would love the Enclave is my one of my. It's not my favorite faction, but it would be my second favorite faction. My favorite faction, y'all know, it's the Kings, right? It's got to be the Kings. You know, it's based on Elvis Presley. It's got to be. But yes, I think the Enclave uniform that comes in the base game is still the best looking outfit in the whole game. So I can't wait. And I really believe in the future that they will do the Enclave and expand upon it. You can't have the Brotherhood of Steel and not the Enclave. Come on. Skyrim Lord says, yeah, I'd assume it would involve him being Todd Howard, calling them once a day or so, talking ideas, guiding them for an hour or whatever, and then move on working Elder Scrolls and whatever. Yeah, it was good to hear Pete say that Starfield and the Elder Scrolls is the priority, and I wouldn't expect it any other way. Timmy says, I wonder if Pete Hines will be out of the doghouse now. I got in trouble when I talked about Pete, so I'm not going to talk about Pete anymore. He's been a lot tamer lately, so that's good. Let's Go Video Game says they need to get the guys from Nuka Break in on that TV show. What do you think? Absolutely. They did an awesome job on it. In fact, there's several that you can find online that do a great job with that. I expect great things from the Fallout TV show. And if you haven't heard, there's actually an Elder Scrolls TV show that's rumored. We don't know that that's true, but it's rumored. I would love to see that as well. I don't know how many of you saw The Witcher on Netflix. Other than the gratuitous nudity, which that was awful. Miss Queen, terrible. Other than that, great show. Henry Cavill did an awesome job. So it was, the actors were great. The writing is great. And with the Westworld being the ones that are producing the show or directing the show, creating the show, whatever you'd say about the Fallout show, I expect it to be top quality. And no doubt. Psycho says Nuka Break was awesome, and it absolutely was. I do recommend that. Absolutely. And there's the guy I always mispronounce his name, and I don't have Queen to tell me, but I'll call you FS. Is that that's terrible. Welcome to the podcast. He says, hello, King. Maybe he is working on another the Elder Scrolls side game as an executive producer. I always wanted single player Elder Scrolls side game like Battlespire. That's a great idea. I can imagine one of those games that he's executive producer on, or at least has some input, is a Starfield mobile game. We have been hearing about that for a long time. So yeah, it would be really interesting to see what else he's executive producer on. And like you say, it's probably things that we don't know about yet, and is why Pete could not name those specific things. But I found it neat that he said that. Maybe Machine Games is opening up a studio in Maryland. I would love to see them open up an American studio somewhere. There's a lot in Austin. You've got Arcane and BGS both in Austin, Texas. And a lot of things are moving to Texas, y'all. A lot of things. What's his name just moved to Texas, or is moving to Texas. The guy that makes the rockets. He did the interview with Todd Howard at E3. What's his name? I've gone blank. Tesla. He makes the Tesla car. Anyway, he's moving to Texas. There's just a lot of people moving there for taxes and other reasons. Cindy's husband, welcome to the podcast. Good to have you. Retro Wave Dave agrees with the Enclave. I absolutely can't wait. Danny, welcome to the podcast. Yes, there is an Enclave quest in Fallout 76, and since you mentioned that, that is still my absolute favorite quest line in Fallout 76 is the Enclave. I love it when you go in there and meet Modus and all that. It reminds me of Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and I absolutely love it. I already liked Fallout 76 before then, but when I did the Enclave missions, that just put it over the top. That just made it great. Michael says, according to this chapter's scoreboard, we're going to encounter the Zayton, the alien race cut from the Fallout 76 vanilla game just prior to launch. Michael, please tell me what you're talking about. I've looked at the scoreboard, but I can't remember what you're talking about. But I did a video on aliens and more aliens coming to Fallout 76. So please tell me what you're talking about. I would not doubt that in the future of Fallout 76, if it lasts as long as they think, that we actually see the mothership Zeta that we saw in Fallout 3. I think that could come in a future DLC as well. But Michael, tell me what you're talking about. I would really love to see that. Queen is calling me bad. I said all that stuff was bad in the show. I was good. You're supposed to say I'm good. Matt says, now that the Enclave has been mentioned, Fallout 76 could benefit from having Enclave weapons, mods, being unlockable. Even a higher spawn rate for finding the mods in game would be appreciated. That would be great. I can see them waiting until the Enclave makes a bigger appearance, like I said, with the DLC. Then I think we'll get Enclave stuff in the Atomic Shop. I think that's going to happen, more stuff in the Atomic Shop soon. But yes, absolutely. Okay, he's pronouncing it for me. Fae-Sal. Fae-Sal. Did I say it right? I always mess it up. Fae-Sal Septum. I think I got it. Yeah, Musk. That's Elon Musk. Thank you, y'all. I'm behind reading this, but Elon Musk, the maker of Tesla and the guy that shoots the rockets. Yeah, him. He's moving to Texas with this whole operation. Texas is where it's at. Well, almost. Texas is almost where it's at. Arkansas is where it's at, and it's right next door. So, we go to Texas quite often. So, what if Bethesda Game Studios did Rage 3? What if Bethesda Game Studios did Rage 3 of the Elder Scrolls 6? James, you just blew my mind. You just blew my mind. Hey, I got it right. Now, I'll forget next time. Fae-Sol Septum. I'll forget, so you'll have to remind me again. But anyway, and yes, Jeremy, the Enclave is how you launch the nukes in the base game of Fallout 76. We talked about a bunch there, and we're almost out of time. No. Well, we've got about 5 minutes. If you have a question related to anything we talked about today, anything Bethesda or anything gaming or Elvis or the Arkansas Razorbacks or anything that the Bible, anything I might know something about, you can ask it right here in the remaining 5 minutes of this podcast. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write down your name and how to pronounce it. This is so funny. It's Fae-Sal Septum. There you go. Don't leave, James says. I'm not leaving you yet. Let's Go Video Game says, what are you thinking about all the back and forth news with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077? I don't know if you were on the show at the very start of the podcast, but I actually started the podcast with the CEO of CD Projekt Red releasing a not only a statement, but also a video of him apologizing that the game was not received. Well, basically, they just said the game did not live up to their standards, and I mean that's a huge admitting something. I hope, and like I said, the first podcast, to just expand on it a little bit, I hope they get all the bugs fixed and people happy, because I don't like people upset. I didn't like when everybody was upset at Fallout 76. Y'all remember that? I want these companies that I'm a fan of that make good games. I want them to keep making great games. I do want them to listen to the fans. I believe Bethesda does that. And it sounds like CD Projekt Red is doing that. But it was a big thing for just him to come out and apologize. That was big. Do you think Indiana Jones will be voiced by Nolan North or Harrison Ford? I actually mentioned that in my video a little bit. It would be great to have Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, as the voice of Indiana Jones. But number one, that would be a lot of money, which Bethesda puts out. I mean, there's been a lot of big name people in Bethesda games. That would be a good thing to talk about sometime, just how many big names have been in Bethesda games. But y'all remember Oblivion, who was the Emperor? He was Captain Picard, yeah. I can't remember his name right now, but from Star Trek. Jean-Luc Picard, what's his name? Anyway, I'm leaning toward, I think they may go another direction than Harrison Ford. Number one, because they can save money. But number two, this game is set up to be a success. It's set up to be, if it is a success, then it's set up to have a sequel. And Harrison Ford's getting on up there. So he would not be guaranteed for a sequel game, especially if it's, 4 or 5 years down the line. Can LucasArts help get Harrison Ford? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I can see that happening. Like I said, the only two reasons I would think that they wouldn't is money, and if there's a sequel, you're not going to have the same voice. Trey says, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're new here, absolutely subscribe, please. Matt says, King, have you heard of any possible news for new events to come later this year? That is the one thing I did not cover from earlier. Yes, absolutely yes. In fact, there is one coming next month, it appears, if they get it done. There is going to be a Valentine's Day event. At least that's what they're making it for. Everything centers around love and hearts and cupids and all those girly things. I'm teasing. Flowers, all that. Don't know any specifics about it, but if they get it finished, and that's a big if, it will be coming next month around Valentine's Day. The reason I say if they get it finished, if you remember, and many of you probably don't at this point, Patrick Stewart, thank you. Meat Week was actually supposed to be the 4th of July event. And they kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. And finally, we played it the first time, I believe it was September. So it didn't quite make it for 4th of July. And of course, this year we didn't get a Halloween event either. But I believe they've been working on this for a Valentine's Day event. Let's see. The next time you play Fallout 76, go to the page which shows the settings, social aspects of the game, and you will see a heading titled Scoreboard. Oh, yeah, the scoreboard. I'll have to go look at the scoreboard. Each time you do something that provides a game accomplishment regarding the daily. Oh, yes, the scoreboard. Michael, I meant what on the scoreboard shows the Zayton. That was what I was talking about. But I'm going to go check that out. You've got me curious. I have to go look because I've already started making a part 2 of the Aliens Are Coming to Fallout 76. And if you hadn't seen my part 1, y'all go back and look at it. Let's see. Miss Queen says, poor Harrison Ford, but I agree. Yeah. It would be the perfect game, though, if it was Harrison's voice. Hey, maybe they should get Garth Brooks for the voice if they could. Oh, my word. id Tech 7 or Creation Engine. I would expect it to not be the Creation Engine. I expect it to be what Machine Games normally uses for the Wolfenstein games. And again, I believe it's going to be more of a first-person shooter type game. But hopefully there will be some exploration. I don't expect it to be an open world, and we're talking about the Indiana Jones game. I expect it to be more like Wolfenstein Youngbloods that had some bigger areas. Thank you, Vault Girl. Man, you are so good. You're like the best moderator anyone could ever have. Look at that. She found my video on aliens, and there it is. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all can click on that link as soon as we're done, and we're just about to be done. Let's see. Wonder if they'll do a face scan for HF and roll his age back like they did in other games and movies. That would be neat to actually have his face. If it's his voice, I have no doubt it'll probably be his face. And even if it's not his voice, I expect the face to look a lot like him, if that makes sense. The Skyrim Lord says, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they got the guy who voiced Han Solo in Battlefront 2, since he's apparently the official audio double for Harrison Ford. So he sounds a lot like Harrison then? Absolutely. That'd be a great idea. Michael says there is a cloaking figure. Oh, okay. Which kind of looks like a kind of Jedi Knight. Look at it closely in the figure's face. That is a Zayton. Thank you, Michael. I will look at that on the scoreboard as soon as we are done. You are saying that, and I can't pronounce his name, but CYNNOC is a Zayton. I'm going to have to check this out and look at it. I'm so excited for more aliens coming in Fallout. And since we are in the time, I know most of y'all have heard this before, but I have to say it right here at the end. If you didn't know, the actual Vault Tech representative that went to inspect Vault 76 was abducted by Mothership Zeta. Well, so that puts that we know then. You say, well, what does that mean? Well, we know then that Mothership Zeta is already around during the time of Fallout 76. You say, how do you know that? Well, when you play Fallout 3 and you play the DLC Mothership Zeta, you can actually hear a holotape from that guy, the Vault Tech inspector that went to inspect Vault 76. So Vault 76 was in Fallout 3, Mothership Zeta. Very, very neat thing. I bring that up a lot, but I guess it's because I want to see the Mothership Zeta come back. I think that would be great. Well, guys, we have actually gone over time. Not a big deal, but we've been here for an hour, so I can't believe it. It went so fast, and I didn't even have my wife to pick on me. Well, she was there picking on me, but oh well. No, it was good talking to Queen. It was great talking to all you guys. I hope y'all have a fabulous, fabulous rest of the weekend. If you didn't catch the whole podcast, I was about to say I talked the whole time. Well, I always talk the whole time. But the whole time we've been talking news. So go back and watch the podcast, and you'll find out all that is coming. Thank you, Barry, your dad. Love you, King. I appreciate that. Cindy, Gentugo. By the way, let me say one thing before I say goodbye. Again, Vault Girl, thank you for being a moderator here on this channel. If y'all haven't checked out her YouTube channel by now, please go check it out. She does excellent, excellent gaming content and cooking content. So y'all please go check out Vault Girl 145 right there. Her name is Blue. Y'all go check out her channel and subscribe if you haven't, and watch all of her videos and like them, by the way. But it was so great to be with y'all today. Have a fabulous rest of your Saturday evening and a wonderful Sunday. Goodbye, y'all. Thanks, Miss Queen, for being on. I love you. Bye, guys.